I hope you guys understand the difference between the serialization and externalization. Do you guys understand, guys? Serialization, externalization, and writable. Why we are using Hadoop their own serialization mechanism than a Java serialization? If you see writable, I know it's not actually. Let me show you a source code. What happened? I think it is downloading the source code. This one only. One second, guys. I'm actually the problem with this JARD. Or let me choose writable, a correct repository. Let me choose this. Yeah. Let me go from here. I think I can choose yes. If you see writable here, you have a two methods. One is a write and read fields. One is a write and other one is two fields, read fields. So write is nothing but it's actually doing a serialization. Read fields is nothing but doing a deserialization. Okay. So when the write, you are writing into data output. And when you are reading from the data input. Instead of object input stream, you are reading from the data output stream and data input stream. So if you want to see more detail about this, you can go ahead and look at what your data input stream, what is your data output stream, so how they are working. Okay, so let's look at. So what was our problem statement? If you guys remember, our problem statement is to find the combination two-word combination, two words combination. Suppose Hadoop is open source is a line. Let's assume that you Hadoop is open source Java based Hadoop is a Java based open source framework, whatever it is framework. If you say I need the two-word combination, I need the two-word combination, like Hadoop is, how many times it came, is open source, how many times it came, is open source, how many times it came, open source Java, how many times it came, Java based, so how many times it came. So that's our use case. Also our use case is a Bigram, two words combination, correct? Our use case is two word combination. Not only this, guys, we can have our own any wherever we feel that our existing data types are not fit, so we will write our own custom data types. So to write our custom data types, what you have to do, you have to write your own class by implementing writable or writable comparable. So when we'll go with writable, when we'll go with writable comparable, when we will go with writable, when we will go with writable comparable. What is the writable? What is the writable comparable? If you see here, writable has a write method and read fields method. Write method, read fields method. Write is for the serializing, read fields is the deserializing. Okay, I hope you guys clear about the writables. Now let's look about the writable comparable. It's also an interface who has extended writable and comparable both. Who has extended the writable and comparable. So writable comparable, they does not have its own methods. The writable comparable is making use of the existing methods of writable and existing method of comparable. Why we need that? If you see here the source code of this, if you see here, I have something called counter and timestamp. Let me take out this. So already the Hadoop itself is given some example if it's in the If you see this, I have my own class which has a writable comparable, implements writable comparable. Let's say it's a custom. Okay, it's my own name, my writable comparable, and so implements the writable comparable. So what I'm doing here, I have something called counter and a timestamp when the counter is generated. Okay, so counter and the respective timestamp for the that. So what I need to do here, so because I have using writable comparable, when I use the writable comparable, so the writable comparable actually extending writable interface and comparable interface. So whenever your interface extended the other interface, we have to provide the body for other interface methods and your interface methods. So here my interface, I don't have any methods, so I need to provide the implementation for only extended interfaces, so writable interface and comparable interface. Okay, so here let's look at here. I'm providing the body for extended, I mean my parent interface. So write method is from the your writable interface. So what I'm doing here, I'm writing the data. How I'm writing? Output, right? Your output stream, right? The data output stream. It's not object output stream, it's a data output stream. Data output stream dot write int because it's integer type. Write long because it's a long type. Let's say if you are using string type, write write int, write string or write text. So you'll use a respective data type for it. Now if I'm reading from the deserializing, I'm doing a deserializing. So in dot read int, read long, or read double, or read UTF. If it is a string value, we will say read UTF, universal text format. Right? These two methods from the writable interface. These two methods from the writable interface. But there is one more interface, no? Comparable interface. Comparable interface. There is one more interface, no? That is comparable interface. So comparable interface has a method called compare to method. Your comparable interface has a compare to method. Could you please tell me what is a comparable? What is a comparable? Who will tell me? Who will tell me what is a comparable?
Comparable is used to compare two different objects equality.
To compare two different objects for the compare. Okay. Two different object. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, go ahead. Someone is trying to tell some answer.
You have to check the compare the identity of the two objects, given objects.
Compare the identity of your two objects. Okay. Then there is something called comparator. Do you heard about the comparator? Then what is the comparator will do? What is the comparator will do? Very simple difference is there. Very little, small difference is there. We need to understand the small difference. Okay. So do one thing. You guys try to uh, understand yourself, or you want me to? I can explain it. Okay. Let me explain myself. Let me explain myself. First, let's see comparable interface. Let's see comparable interface. I have a class which is employee. I have a class which is employee. Whenever you are going to do a sort or when you're doing to some other operations, it has to compare based on the ID. based on the ID. So I'm writing my employee class here. Class employee, it has ID, name and salary, age. So it is implements because comparable is an interface. Implements comparable. Implements comparable. So as soon as when I do implements comparable, I have to provide a body for our compare to method. So what is the signature of the compare to method? Public int compare to, and it will take only one object, object wo. So what is I've decided? It should be compared based on the ID. So I will write my logic here. It's pretty simple logic. So what I will do first, I'll say, let's say it's a employee, right? emp1 equal to, I have to typecast it, employee of this object, then if condition this dot id equal to emp dot id, because I'm comparing this emp, it's actually I have taken object, right? Object I converted into emp. This means the current object, this means current object. So if this or dot id equal to this id, do something else, if it is a greater than, return 0. If this dot id is greater than emp dot id, return positive 1, else return -1. So this is the logic we'll write. Forget about the logic you can get it anywhere based on your logic, so that you can write. Okay, now this is my employee class. Now I have created three objects. Let's say one is Ravi, employee is Ravi, Madhu, his employee ID is 101, and Ravi some XYZ 32, and Madhu, let's assume the randomly I take number 95, ID is 95, name is Madhu, some XYZ is a salary, let's say 28 or 30, whatever it is, I'm just taking randomly, guys, and Srikanth, like that I have taken. So let me, my main concentration is I need to take the IDs, Srikanth or Sulba, whatever it is. Now when I want to sort these objects, when I say sort of this employee, if I pass, actually I need to put this all these things in list, right? Because if when you want to play with the multiple objects, you have to go with the collection. So what type of collection you use, that's up to you, whether you will go with the list or set or whatever you do, right? So when I say employee list or employee list, what will happen? Internally it knows I have to compare based on the age. I have to compare based on the age. So do you have anything? Suppose now I don't want to compare based on the age. I want to compare based on the names. Do you have option here in employee? I hope, are you guys able to follow? Madhu, Srikanth, Srini, Sulba.
Yes, Ravi.
So in employee class, I have fixed it with a method saying that employee ID only. I have already fixed it in employee class, right? So suppose if I want to do up by name, what I need to do? I need to comment this code. I need to write a freshly a new code. But in the real time, In the real time, every time whenever you want to change your logic, you cannot go ahead and change it, no. It is employee your own code, you can do it. Let's assume that you are taking something from the different framework. Let's say my mapper. Let's say simple mapper. Okay. In the mapper, they have already given their own sorting logic. Or let's assume that this employee is coming from the different framework, which is not native to my Java. Let's assume that this employee is coming from the different. They already fixed this thing. This already fixed. They have just given the jar file. In the jar file, they have fixed it should be based on the ID. Okay. So do you have any option to change? No, I don't want to use the ID. I want to use the name. Do you have any option? Madhu, Sulba, Srini? I don't have. What I need to do? Again, I need to write complete logic. I need to write complete logic. Yes or no? Right? So if I go with comparator, let's look at now. I'm going to comparator. Guys, actually, this is not part of Hadoop, but still we need to understand this. If I go with the comparator, it has a compare method. Let me show you the same thing. I have employee. I'm not going with the complete syntax, guys. I'm going with employee. Here ID, name, salary, age. This is my employee class. Now I will not implement here. I will not implement here. I will write my custom class ID sort, ID compare or ID sort, whatever you think. ID compare, ID comparator implements comparator. Now here I will provide the body for compare, which will take two objects. It will not take a single object because it is a different class. In the before it is the same class, that's why I used this command, this keyword. In the previous example, because I'm implementing the compare method in the same class, that's why I used only this. I'm taking only one object from there. But here I will take two objects, O1, object O2, because I need to pass both objects. Now in this body I need to convert, let's say both are employee, right? emp1 equal to employee of O1, emp2 equal to same employee of O2. Now what happened? Both your object 1, object 2 has been converted as a employees. Now you will write your own logic here. If emp1 dot, it's a ID comparator, ID equal to emp2 dot ID, then do something, else do something, else you do something. What I have done here, I have written different class. So in your employee class, you didn't implement the comparator. You have written your own class for implementing the your sorting algorithm or comparing algorithm. So let's say now later after some time I want to go with the I don't like to go with the ID. I will go with the age. What I will do, I will write class age comparator because I just need to do it. So whether my framework is given me this option or not, I don't mind. Let's assume that your framework is given only employee class. So what you can do, you can just go ahead and write age comparator extends or implements, sorry, not extends, implements comparator, and you go here, you take your age or whatever it is. You may ask, Ravi, why can't I do the same thing with the comparable? because your comparable will take the only one object. Your comparable will take the only one object. So you may say that, Ravi, I will write my own, here also I'll say my, let's say I'll say name comparator or age comparator. You implements comparable. Let's say you did everything, but your compare method will take a single object. No, how can you get, from where you'll get the second object to compare? So you cannot access this here, no, because it's a different class altogether. It's a different class. You cannot use this operator here, no. If you start using the this, it will consider this one. If you start using this, it will take this class. But your compare method is giving only one object, no. How can you compare it? Understand, guys? I hope you guys are able to follow. Madhu, Sulba, Java guys especially,
You got it.
right? So that is the difference between your comparable and comparator interface. So now, whether your irrespective of your framework is given or not, or your third party, let's assume that employee is third party, you don't like by age and you like by go with the salary, or you like go with by name, you will write your own class. You will write your own class name comparator, implements comparator, go with here, because my compare method will take two objects. Whenever I want to compare, I can compare it. But your compare to method will take only one object. Until unless it is there in the current class, then only you can compare. If it is not there in other class, same class, if you try to write it in a different class, you will not get this. I mean, you will not get the two different objects there. You may say that I will create a new object. When you create a new object, it will become a new object. You cannot compare with the old object. You have to compare with the old object. Okay, that is a limitation with the comparable interface. Okay, so let's move to our use case. Actually, it is taking so much of time for the explanation. So in my as I said, my writables, I have to write my own comparison mechanism here. I'm just writing my comparison mechanism. So after writing the compare, based on the what I want to compare, whether word 1 or word 2 or what I need to compare, I'll just compare, because to make sure that I'm getting two different objects, I have to override equals and hash code also. But equals is not mandatory, but hash code is, you can write it. Okay, same thing I have done it my Bigram class. If you see, I have implements the writable comparable, and I have taken word 1, word 2, because two word combination, it is a two words combination. Read fields, reading from the data input, read UTF, universal text format. Okay, because it's a strings universal text format. Write also UTF and only. I have option here. If you guys see here, word 1, word 2 only I want to do serialization. So I want to do only word 1, as I can do it. I'll just go ahead and do it like this. Only like I have an option to choose. I have to choose which, how many words you want to do it. It is not like a whole object you need to do a serialization. Here I'm not going to do whole object. I'm choosing which element I want to write. And yeah, this is what. If I want to write only word 2, you just comment the word 1, you can write it. Okay, word 2. And compare to method for the comparing the two objects. Compare to method for the comparing the two words. So word 1, word 2, I need to compare, right? So on getters and setters for giving a flexibility where you can set the values, where you can get the values, and toString method because I need to emit as a two words, word 1, word 2. I need to emit as this, like including a bracket. I need to emit as including bracket. So that's why I'm overwriting the toString method. Hash code and equals for the proper comparison for comparing two. So let's look at my Bigram job, Bigram mapper. Reducer is nothing changes. Reducer is as similar as your word count reducer because we just need to count only, right? So only changes will happen in the Bigram. Your job also, there won't be a huge change because only change comes here, your the data type, map output key. This is the only change. The rest of everything is similar. And your mapper, only the mapper changes here. Only mapper changes here. Let's look at in the map method. You are taking the string and you need your object, because you need emit as your object, two word combination, right? You need emit. K2 is nothing but your diagram, V2 is nothing but 1, K1 is long writable, V1 is a text, K2 is your diagram, two word combination, and V2 is a number which is a 1, number 1, and V3 V4 is a diagram comma total number of count. Let's look at here. I'm converted, I split it. After splitting it, I'm taking the first word and second word. So first word and second word, I'm going through the loop. First word I'm taking, 0th position I'm taking the first word. So I'm checking here, the word's length should be more. If it is only one word, there is no point to take into second. That's why I'm checking. So the word length should be more than one, should not be one. I mean, should not be one. So not equal to, I'm checking here. I'm taking the word 2, the second word into second. I'm checking word 1 and word 2 should not be empty, and word 1 it should not be equivalent to word 2. Let's say hi comma hi, so no meaning. Hadoop comma Hadoop, no meaning, right? It should be some different. So after that, then only I'm putting into object set word 1, set to word 2, both are I'm setting, and context dot write. You guys very much aware of this. Context dot write my word comma number 1, word comma number 1. So this is the mapper logic. So when it goes to your reducer, the reducer will get the key value pairs. The reducer gets such a way that your reducer will get such a way that oh, I have removed it, it seems. I have cleared the screen, it seems. Your reducer gets such a way that including brackets, because I have used my two string back brackets, right? Hadoop is one time is like it will come in the sorting form, guys. So I'm just not taking this. It's a one time or 1 comma 1 comma 1. Let's assume that multiple times it came, and is open may come one time, and so on. It will come like this. So finally in the reducer you will go through these values and you'll submit the same as your word count, same as your word count. Only changes this diagram K2, K2 and K3, K2 and K3 only changes. Rest of everything is same as your word count program. Only changes because you need to emit as a two word combination, so which is not possible with the existing data types. That's why we have created our own data type by naming as a diagram, and we have seen. So this code is already shared with you guys. Please go through this code and try to implement triagram. Triagram means three word combination, three word combination, and ngram, and something called ngram. Let's look at, there is something called ngram. There is something called ngram. So you also try to implement how to write ngram. Here you have some sample code. This is actually some sample code. I have shown you without Mapreduce. It's a normal Java code. Okay, let's say beyond HDFS there is something I want to process ngram. Here I did it. This ngram is not part of your Mapreduce. This is Java, plain Java thing. So before I write my actual ngram logic in my mapper and reducer, what I have done, I have uh, implemented in the normal Java file. Okay, then I saw that okay, I'm getting the proper output, then implement Java, your mapper job. You can see here mapper code. In the mapper code, the same logic I'm implementing. In the mapper code, and the same logic I'm implementing. So before I didn't write like word 1, word 2, word 3 like in the diagram. I have written all my logic in the mapper itself. I have written complete logic in the mapper itself. Okay, I have written complete logic in the mapper itself. Please go through this. If you didn't understand the non-Java background, guys, not to worry. So if you know the concept of implementing the custom data type, that's enough. Okay, the main motto of this example is how to implement the custom data type. Custom data type, not the custom input format. Don't confuse with the custom input format. This is custom data type only. Custom input formats we'll see. We have so many examples for that. Okay, so that's it for today. So that has been said. So that's it for today. So if you guys have any questions, Please go ahead and ask.